execution of a man like Kevin Samuels. Thank you so much. Have a goddamn and God bless
We'd like to thank O'Shea Duke Jackson. Thank you so much, O'Shea, for those heartfelt. And on behalf of the family, thank you for all the help that you provided. I know that his mother is watching, his daughter is watching, his whole family is watching, and so we want to just make sure we acknowledge O'Shea Duke Jackson. But thank you so much. Next up, we have another man who needs no introduction. I'm sure people who don't follow YouTube are like, how are these people so famous? What have we been missing out on? And that's what Kevin Samuels did. He brought what was once a dark corner of YouTube, the manosphere, and he pushed it into the mainstream. But nevertheless, one of our most talented, I guess, online personalities, MTR, also known as Mediocre Tutorials. Thank you so much. And he is going to tell us about Kevin Samuels' future plans. Thank you so much, sir. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Des, and thank you to everybody for being here today. You know, I really can't believe that this is happening at where it is right now, but you know, we just got to move forward. So within that, Kevin would always used to call me and have these big, huge ideas, and I wanted to share some of these ideas with you about the future state. And we often have these conversations, and I always felt it difficult to try to consolidate all of the things that he was saying because his ideas were so big and his ideas were so vast. But here's what I knew, is that within a couple of close conversations with Kevin, I began to really understand how much of a thought leader that he was, how brilliant of a man that he was. See, YouTube was just the beginning. IG, Instagram was just the beginning. But he was planning to leverage these platforms to create something much, much bigger. But his goal first was to prove that the problems that he talked about in his live stream were real and that the audience understood the issues, and wanted to go and embark on this journey of solutioning with him, right? So one of the things that I would tell Kevin is like, hey, listen, man, if you just stopped what you were doing for a little while and just came up with a suit line, it would go completely through the moon. That'd be your retirement plan. You would have the live stream as much. But Kevin was absolutely addicted to the work because he loved it so much, because he understood the impact that it was going to make on our culture. Not just that, but the world. And, you know, even though he undoubtedly it would have been a success, he wanted to maintain true to speaking about these issues that affected our culture and trying to provide a solution, right, of how to circumvent it, right? One of the most ambitious ideas that he had, and I talk with him about this often because I've talked about it kind of separately on my platform as well, is how do we take back control of the image of the black man in America, okay? So simply put, right, he was on a mission to make hardworking, awesome, dope, well-dressed, intelligent, and successful the absolute new standard. And he was going to do it by image first, right? While continuing to distance from the more nefarious portions of our culture that typically in mainstream media gets the most amount of attention. Right? So, because we often joked about, you know, like the word lame, like I think I heard BGS Ibmore refer to that back in the beginning, in our culture and understanding that, wait, why is lame considered smart, disciplined, consistent, hardworking, intelligent, everything like that above? And what can we do in order to transition the image where that was the normal, where that was the average, especially considering that the image of that is going to determine what success looks like for each and every one of us. See, we recognize that within the space, the forgotten market, or the one that is not represented or represented by us, is that market, the black suburban man, or even like the black upper class man as well. And if components or portions of our media continue to highlight the more negative portions of it, and we don't have control of it, then we will still be governed by a place where those that are non-melanated will look at us with that negative image and portrayal, and those even within our culture will look at us within that same portrayal as well. So it was something that we talked about often in order to be able to tackle, and we wanted to utilize visual media, visual entertainment, whatever you want to call it, in order to be able to do that, right? So you take a look back at the trip and the pictures that we saw flashed up a little bit earlier back into Brooklyn, initiating with Dennis Sperling, TLA, right, in order to be able to try to begin to build the brain trust of how we can start to do that, right, to initiate that going into the future. All right. So I'm gonna share a couple of other quick things that Kevin would throw around, and just so you guys all know as well. All right, so most of you guys were already familiar as well with some of the focus groups that he was conducting, right? And shout out to O'Shea just a little bit earlier, was talking about how fastidious that he was, how much of a researcher that he was, and really the plan of that, which he planned on continuing, was continue to gather information, data, to continue to research the opportunities that both the modern man and the modern woman today, to continue to glean insights, to provide more content into the type of discussions that he was having for things that he had not yet tackled yet, right? And also too, and this is one thing that was a blessing within my life, and having Kevin within it for the time that it was, is that one thing he said is like, listen, we got to get up outside of the camera and begin to start to have these conversations. So I also know going into the future, he planned on having these events. So imagine having an event, and let's say that the topic of the event was like becoming married, right? And you fill out an application and you send that in, and then of that application, if you're selected, both men and women would be invited to a conference of some sort within this event, all day of workshops, opportunity to meet one another, meet him, meet other special guests, that he would invite in. And it was a place to really kind of solve a lot of the issues that he would bring up from a content perspective on his channel, right? One of the other, ideas that we did talk about as well was specific to, making sure that our perspectives of dating and within the culture was not just predicated specific to where we are at, but the thought of kind of traveling, internationally to conduct podcasts as well, not even just from country to country, but to go across the pond and even further beyond that in order to kind of conduct these, so we can get much more of a global perspective of the issues between, the modern man, modern woman, maybe even the Eastern and the Western as well, right? So his mind was constantly spinning, it was constantly turning, and I count myself as blessed to be in the ear or the area as he was coming up and conjuring all of these different types of amazing and awesome ideas, right? So I'm going to turn over. I wanted to keep it real brief, real short, but rest well, Kevin. Keep on watching over us, all right? I think we have TLA next up to chat.
That is black.
Thank you so much, tutorials and reviews. Now, before we bring on this,
that was quite bland.
I want to make sure you all who are new to the Manosphere, maybe you just become a Kevin Samuels fan. You thought he was the only one like him. Well, let me tell you, we have some brilliant men and women, but some brilliant men here in the Manosphere. I want to acknowledge Dr. Tia-San Johnson, Dr. Ronald Neal, and the Green Gorilla, the G with the PhD. But the one leading the pack, as far as I'm concerned, the guy that I call when I'm having baby mama, needs to be introduced. My favorite lawyer, and I'm the lead attorney, man. Welcome back. You're going to talk to us about a very tough subject. I'll give you the toughest argument on the panel. You got to tell us what he meant to us.
Yes.
The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. Yes, you tasked me with explaining a little bit about what impact that he had on us, and then you asked me to do it in 4 minutes. So that's going to be a little difficult, but I will do it. I will do it. And it's good that you gave me a time limit, because if not, I would have long strip you guys to death. There's so much to talk about.
Oh no.
Considering the time constraint, I will tell you guys one thing that that Kevin showed us, and he always used to say it. Your network is your net worth, right? And it's true. And it's something that he showed in his own life. This was not just some guy preaching. I mean, he absolutely walked the walk. He had 1 million followers on Instagram and then
what's up?
1 million
All right.
subscribers on
Rush the door. Don't let it slam.
one of those alone is a humongous feat. And so to get both of those
I'm live, okay?
coming from where he did in this space is amazing. And he tried to instill that into us, and he was doing it. MTR talked about focus groups that he was doing. He had invited me down to start attending those because we're both down here in Atlanta. He was focused on bringing communities together. He had his Patreon groups. He had so many
Tasha, you gotta put a paper
events
towel
and so
under
many
between
ways
that pot.
to really unite people, to bring people's networks together. And he did this with us, with Dennis, with MTR, with me, with other content creators. If you're not a YouTuber, you might not realize that being a YouTuber can be a pretty solitary affair. Most of the time, we're just in our homes or our studios with a camera. And even though we can be talking to, 500 people on a live stream or 2,000 or 10,000 people on a live stream, it's really just us in our homes with this camera and this tripod. And it's a pretty solitary existence being a YouTuber a lot of times. And Kevin didn't like that. And he would reach out to other content creators. He would give advice, or he would call to talk about business opportunities. He was always trying to link up with content creators. And that's huge because, again, you can just kind of be on your island, even if you have a channel of significant following. You can absolutely just kind of be by yourself with a channel of 50,000 or 100,000 subscribers and you haven't met anyone. And Kevin fought against that. He would talk to all of us individually. I know for me, he would call me on the phone. Sometimes it'd be 30 minutes. Sometimes he'd be talking to me for an hour and a half. You never know how long it was going to be. Wisdom that he would have the brothers on the other content creators as well. It's just amazing. He had invited me to collaborate with him in Miami. I had never been to Miami before. When I was in Miami, I actually met a subscriber down there. He saw I posted on IG, so I was able to take a subscriber to dinner, which was huge for me because I had never even.
He said he took a subscriber to dinner. You mean you did a consultation while out there? Stop it. The lead attorney wants to be paid.
I just want to know what's your IG buddy.
Met subscriber in here, I might have had 100,000. I might have had 100,000 subscribers at that point, and never met one subscriber. Because again, this can be super solitary. And so Kevin was able to get a lot of us out of our shells. He planned a trip with Dennis and MTR and me to meet another YouTuber who has over 5 million subscribers. I mean, to talk to that man was just an eye-opening experience. But again, this is Kevin trying to formalize and create networks, right? Create resources, create relationships. And he was great at it. And actually, talking about that, just going up and meeting MTR, meeting Dennis, fellow brothers, successful YouTubers. These are things that no one else was really putting together. No one. And certainly no one on the extent that Kevin was doing it. The way that he was able to bring people together, content creators, regular people together, and to foment those relationships, those networks was amazing. He used to always say that he couldn't do it by himself. He had asked Dennis and MTR and me to get together, maybe some names, 5 to 10 his endeavors. He had
plans. So, time is getting short, but I just do want to let you guys know that he was so focused on bringing people together, bringing men and women together in terms of community and marriage, bringing content creators together, just building up networks. And that was a huge message that he had. And it's going to keep going. You know, I saw something from a brother who is a well-known content creator. I saw a video of his just yesterday. I didn't like it. And before, you know, I just would have said, oh, well, you know, I just don't like it, but that's fine, right? But thinking about how Kevin does things, I actually hit this brother up on the G and I said, hey, you know, I saw this video and I didn't care for it for this reason. And he wrote me right back and he was like, man, you know, and it was weird for me to even say that because I prefaced it by saying, I know you didn't ask for my opinion, all right? But he wrote me right back and he said, listen, you know, please tell me anything that you see about my content. You know, I totally agree with you and this is going to be addressed and, you know, I appreciate you telling me that. And this is something that Kevin would do. You know, I got this from Kevin, just saying, hey, put another set of eyes on it, right? And it really helps. And this is a network, right, that we're building. You know, we're all in this together. When I did that collab, and just to close it out, when I did that collab with Kevin in Miami, he took, for the thumbnail, he took a photo of me and him sitting at a table. And he captioned it with 2 words. Is that he's absolutely right. It does continue. His message will continue. So with that, I will give it back to Dennis.
Yes, his message will continue. I don't doubt that for a second. I was looking at the chat and it says, you left your gazelles on the table. uh, these are not gazelles. These are chrome hearts. But anyway, um, it was a little dry. It was a little dry. I ain't gonna lie. It felt a little. I don't know. To me, it felt like he was going through the motions. Like he didn't want to be there, but he knew he had to be there. That's how I felt with the lead attorney. And I'm sorry, that's just my vibe. He seemed a little bit like, whatever that means.
Good. Thank you guys, everybody. Make sure you hit TLA in the chat room. Thank you so much, lead attorney. What you guys to do is just sit back and now you're going to get to experience what I saw early on in my years. That is all of these brilliant men coming together, answering questions. What YouTube has provided is an outlet for brilliant minds like these that you've heard and that you've seen to come together and speak on issues. So now, and I guess we'll start off with BGS, you know, as one of the forerunners of what we now know as the manosphere. And everybody, please chime in. What's manosphere going forward? What's going to happen now? And anybody, the floor is yours, you guys.
Well, you get people got what we thought was impossible, which is the black manosphere, the manosphere to become mainstream. Okay, that's the gift that Kevin gave us back 2 years ago. And people, you know, at the time, people were actually afraid of it. Oh, what's going to happen? We're going to get attacked. We're going to get this or that if we go mainstream. Maybe this is not a good thing, right? The thing is, now that 2 years on, now that we're comfortable with it, now that high schoolers are watching our videos and taking our messages and considering the thoughts and theories that we have, the thing is not to lose momentum. And I think I did a video called Next Man Up, okay? And that's the whole thing. This is, Kevin might have been the van um, our Joan of Arc, so to speak, right? Kevin had an army behind him. And Kevin, all these thoughts and ideas and theories weren't just Kevin's, right? Kevin was the avatar for them. Okay. Now that the mainstream, we don't have one Kevin. We got, like I said, we got three Kevins right there, right? We got three Kevins right here. This is just the next man up. In the military, they say that the general in top position, they train 2 or 3 positions down, right? So if the general falls, next man up. This is a conveyor belt. This is a factory, right? And if one piece gets taken out, the next person fills in, or the next 5 people fill in. One person cannot fill Kevin's shoes, right? One person cannot fill Kevin's shoes. One person cannot do what he does, but 5 can, 10 can, 50 can, 100 can, right? Everybody's going to have to take up the mantle and do their part. Okay, you just can't fall on your shield, take a knee, and just waste away. Okay, you gotta just like when Tony Stark died, right? In Avengers Endgame, everybody took a knee. But once they got off the knees, that's what they did. They all banded together and did their jobs. And that's what we're going to have to do. We cannot let the momentum die. And that's what I said, in videos. Kevin got the ball rolling. He broke through the glass ceiling. We're spreading out, like hordes all over the mainstream. We're out of the manosphere. We're in the mainstream. We're in popular media. We're in the colleges. We're in the halls of power, right? And what is the message we want to carry to the halls of power? We want vindication. We want equity. We want justice, and we want our share for black men. That was the whole thing about Kevin. This whole thing about the manosphere, even the broader manosphere. We want equity for men that we've been trying to get for the last 60 years. And now that we have this momentum, we can't let this moment pass. Okay, brother, Kevin did his job, right? So he passed the baton, right? What happens in a relay race, right? We try to improve upon what he did. Okay, so all it is next man up. Okay, I've seen the seeds that have been planted. We fertilized the ground. Time to grow the crops. Next man up.
Yeah, and I can chime in as well. I really appreciate your words, BJ. I want to add just a bit of sprinkle on top of that, because I know I've been looking down in my comment section when I decided to look at my comment. Themes that I'm seeing up there is, you got all the content creators up here are receiving the same type of message, and here's the thing: is that Kevin was so unique in the way that he thought, in the way that he sold his thoughts, in the amount of research that he did. The idea that he would travel around from city to city, right, learning and then conveying what he learned from where he was at, and then would just make that into an entire show that was so relevant, it was so poignant. It's incredible. So I say all that to say is that Kevin was super unique, and because of that uniqueness and that brilliance, he was able to take that and take it to the next level. I think all of us have our unique talents, all of us have our unique gifts, but I think really in order to kind of continue with the message and affirming and supporting men, it has to come from each and every one of us.
Facts.
It's not just the content creators up here as well. It comes from each and every one of us. If you listen to Kevin's words, then a little bit of Kevin is in each and every one of you. So I would challenge not only just the content creators to continue to keep his work alive, his legacy alive, but I would challenge each and every person that's watching the stream. What are you doing in your day-to-day lives to make sure that the things that you learned from Kevin are being kept alive?
I like that.
All right. Anybody else? O'Shea, I guess O'Shea stepped off for a minute. I know this. I'm definitely pretty hard-headed, and it took me a while to kind of figure out
Babe,
that
can you turn off that dishwasher, please?
what he was talking about was real. I come from a traditional business. My father was a lawyer. His wife was a lawyer. My godmother's a lawyer. My son is going to law school. My fiance is going to law school. So I come from a brick and mortar style business. The idea that I could come on YouTube and actually make money, it was never something I truly considered. It wasn't until, as the gentleman mentioned, we went to New York, and I saw the potential of making hundreds of millions of dollars. Now, I'm probably not going to get out of my bed if you say we can make a couple $100,000. But when you start talking about, or even $1 million, I'm not going to change my life that much because I realize once you get it, it's really not that much. The most important thing is family, in my opinion. And I've learned that because there's been times when I've been super sick with hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank and cars, 4 or 5 cars outside, and didn't want to go anywhere. Listening to you guys, lead attorney, MTR, especially BGS, who's a person who I listened to early on, has helped heal me, from a lot of the issues that I was dealing with, whether it be depression, whether it be divorce, not able to see my children as often as I want because of being abiding by custody agreements and whatnot. And having this camaraderie, having these other men who I may have never met, but I know them by their personality to listen to, have brought me great comfort over the years. And I think that's the essence of the manosphere at large. And then to have other black men who understand your unique experience in the United States has been a tremendous help for my own development and growth. And I hope that moving forward, that we don't make just moves just about money. I hope we continue to remember it is the essence of black men and men in general, but specifically black men being able to come together and speak on issues that concern us without being shamed, without being made feel guilty, and be able to speak freely. I think that's something that's very important. We should keep that at the center moving forward.
I do like what this man has said. It's like you're sitting in your home, 4 cars out there you can jump in, and you don't want to go anywhere. You're not even feeling like you're feeling like your life is somehow missing. You're missing something, and it's not money that's gonna make you happy. What's gonna make you happy is truly connecting with your group. I think is what he's trying to say, and finding that group and connecting with that group. Finding finding that group is so difficult. I keep saying how Kevin Samuels always talked about being useful to the group, and then I would argue that what Kevin Samuels then doesn't tell us is that we have to create our group. And like this guy is saying, the only way to kind of do that is by stepping outside. You cannot truly create your group necessarily. Well, Kevin was saying how you have to step outside. You just can't be in front of your TV and your microphone creating content and being useful to anyone other than yourself. So this is a platform where you can make money, but not only can you make money, but you can also find that group. And then when you find a group, you got to step outside. You can't just be inside. No man is an island. I know. That's where I got. That's what I got from what he was just saying.
Well, O'Shea, I don't know if you're there, O'Shea. BGS, would you like anybody have anything else they want to add? I'd love to hear anybody else who wants to talk. And if not, we'll go on to the next segment.
Now, you know what? I'll just say something really briefly, man. It's like, money's cool, and I always say, I told Kevin earlier on, I don't believe in poor righteous teachers. Never do. You should get paid for what you do. You should get paid well for your talents.
Facts.
The thing is, at the end of the day, money is not power. Power is power. And what we're vying for black men, for men, all men, so it's not just black men, all men, is equity and power. And I think that should be the focus. And money will come. Money always comes.
The thing, BGS, man, like, I kind of feel selfish because, I've been focusing on black men for the past 2 years here on YouTube and, 5 or 6 years over on Facebook. And now I realize there's so many other men around the world that need to hear this message. And Kevin showed us that there's a need for men around the world to have a voice.
That's
and,
him talking.
I think I
Dennis
can't do it by myself,
Falling.
but I think we could be the voices of these men around the world who are frustrated, who are overworked, who are not appreciated, whether they be blue collar or white collar. It seems no matter what they do, the goal line is moved another 100 yards ahead. If they become a millionaire, then they're not worth 10 million. If they become a billionaire, they still get divorced and lose $52 billion to their ex-wife. It's never enough. But it's time for us, especially those of us here in this section of the Black Manosphere, the educated, high-value men like these men here, to really just expand our message outwards, because I think it's helpful to all. What are your thoughts on that, BGS?
Yeah, I think so. And the thing is that the movement that so far has been a groundswell of common folks, right? And we need people that are like yourselves that are in the position to actually carry the next leg, because it can't end just on YouTube. It can't end just on a discussion or having discussions with women. It has to be translated into policy. Like I was just reading an article from 2017, like 20 states are considering 50-50 custody. In other words, getting rid of the old 200-year-old idea of what we call the 10 years doctrine, or where they actually handed over basically the possession of children to women. Okay, give fathers a fair shot, give men a fair shot. All men have been asking for the last 6 years is a fair shot. Equity. Give me a fair shot in this system, right? That we haven't gotten. It's not just black men. We already know what the plight of black men is. We know we're the designated underclass. Okay, that is what it is. But the thing is, it also affects white men the same way. I'm sure Lee can tell you, it affects everybody, right? Men, when they come into court, when they come into this system, especially for marriage and family courts, okay, win or lose, you just want to know that you have all that we're asking for. That's all that the manosphere is asking for. Give us a fair shot. Give us a fair shot of relationships and business and with our families. And Kevin was actually preaching the same thing. We want balance. We want equity. We want rewards for what we do. I mean, I don't think that's too much to ask.
I don't think it is. Well, I want to just thank everybody. Thank you so much, BGS. Thank you, O'Shea Duke Jackson. Thank you, Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews. And thank you, the lead attorney. I appreciate you guys. You guys, make sure you check out their channels if you haven't already. O'Shea, is there anything else you'd like before we go on to the next segment, sir?
I just want to say that you four brothers, I love you. I love what you're doing for our fallen brother. I have hold you guys in a great esteem. I thank everybody for being there for us. You guys are my lifelong friends. I just was teasing the lead attorney on the email today, and so I'm really great to know you, brother. As professional black men, as guys I work with in this business, and I'm so grateful and I'm so honored, brother. It's Dennis. You've been doing a lot of work, taking a lot of help from these haters behind the scenes. So I thank you for for all that you guys are doing for us. Now I really appreciate you guys for standing in for our guys. So thank you so much, and God bless everybody. And I appreciate you what you're doing, Dennis, MCR, the fans, subscribers. Thank all of you. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you guys so much. We're gonna go and bring in the next segment. I want to make sure big shout out to BGS Idmore, O'Shea Duke Jackson, MTR, and the lead attorney. Right now, we have a very special guest, and we may have an even very special guest that comes in behind this. I want to introduce you all to Jeff Liscombe. Jeff, if you're available, go ahead and hop back on that screen. I know you were ready earlier. It's good to see you again, man. Jeff and I have talked more in the past week and a half than I've talked to my ex-wife in the past 12 years, Jeff. I mean, And I enjoyed our conversation. I'm just kidding. All right,
Why
whatever.
is being petty?
They don't like me anyway, so I don't care, man. But for those of you guys who don't know, Jeff is Kevin's best friend, and he's the person that was, he's the person that behind the scenes has been doing all the heavy lifting to make sure that Kevin's legacy is preserved. And so I just want to give him an opportunity to talk to the fans. And Jeff, the floor is yours, and I'll come back whenever you finish. Okay, brother?
Hey, man, I appreciate the. This has been one of the most traumatizing times, I have to say, for myself. I have actually not just lost Kevin, but I've also lost another best friend of mine within the last 5 months. So, but this one was not anywhere near. Neither one of them were unexpected, but this is traumatic. But the thing that I want you guys to really understand about Kevin and my desires, helping Kevin all I could in the early days of this growth, this attainment from where he started to where he's at, building this channel up. He was the person that, people talk about his vision. He had a vision. He watched everybody. He wanted to bring the community together of gentlemen and men together that could make a difference. And his North Star was to bring families together. You watch his show, that's what he wanted. He wanted us all to have community. He wanted to get rid of the vitriol. He grew up, and I grew up similarly. And we talked about that so much, and how we wanted to have something different for our friends and our family members, and to see what could be better for the community at large. And he was a large presence. I mean, when I met Kevin, he was a large presence, and what you saw on TV or what you saw on YouTube was just who he was. He was confident. He was commanding. He was a visionary. He was a leader. He just would step to the front. But he was also uplifting. He was just a humble guy, to be honest with you. You may think that he was, being a leader and being commanding, but people still have to be humble. And Kevin was humble. He had people walk to him on the street and would greet him. He'd call me and tell me, man, they stopped them. The guy stopped in the street to come meet me. I just can't believe that. I'm just a guy from Oklahoma City, just a regular guy. Why? It can't just be me. It's something bigger than me. But I got to keep doing the work. And I think that's the thing he wanted. He was desperately trying to get out there. First talking to men, second talking to women, but really just talking to us all. Told us all, it doesn't matter if you're a man, if you're a woman. He said, do the work. You listen to his channel, you watch his videos. He says it all the time, do the work. And so he wanted to make sure the work got done. He wanted you to know he was just a regular guy. He wasn't spit polished all the time. He wasn't his best when he started on YouTube. He was just a guy who wanted to say something and found a lane to say it in. And once he found it, it felt right. And he always wanted to make sure that whatever he did it for the right reasons. There was the show Kevin, and then there was the man Kevin. And the man Kevin was a young man that started in Oklahoma City, raised by his mom, also raised by his aunts and his grandfather and grandparents. His sphere of influence was his grandfather. The greatest man in his life would have been his grandfather that helped him mold him. And his mom told me just the other day, his grandfather always told him, wherever you go, you belong. And actually, he made a video about that same statement. You belong. And no matter where you're at, don't be ashamed. Don't bow your head. Don't look down at the floor. Keep your head up. Walk with pride. And to keep your head up. And when this happened, I was always helping him to keep his North Star true. And he didn't want to believe the truth that he was a superstar on the internet. He didn't want to believe that the 1 million followers really meant something. He didn't want to believe that the 1 million subscribers on Instagram was him. He would always humble himself. Kevin was afraid of heights, and I think he was afraid of the height. He didn't want to look at the height that he was flying at. And I'd have to remind him. I said, man, but you are a superstar. This is reality for you now. And people are counting on you to lead them and give them a hope of being better. And that has been something he strived every day to do. He worked tirelessly. If you want to be a YouTuber, if you want to be like Kevin Samuels, you want to be the next Kevin Samuels, you better be ready. That brother worked 20 hours a day, 7 days a week. He never, ever slept. 3 hours a day is when he slept. I'm a testament to that. I watched it. I saw it. Long before he became the famous Kevin Samuels online, he was sleeping 3 hours a day. When he became the famous Kevin Samuels online, he was sleeping 3 hours a day. He loved everyone. He loved you. He loved me. He loved us all. And he gave his life for the work. He said it all the time. I'm doing this for the work, for the love of the people. And he wanted to make this channel, but he wanted to make the manosphere. He wanted to make families better. He wanted to make men better. He wanted fathers better. But you know what? He wanted women better. He wanted mothers better. He wanted kids better. He wanted the community better. He wanted the Black community to be greater than what it's ever been. We lived in Oklahoma. We knew the stories of Black Wall Street, what Tulsa used to have. But why couldn't that be today? Why can't that be in America, in every city? Because the resources are there, the internet is there. What you just saw was a collection of guys that he wanted to work with. I can't remember who it was a second ago, but he talked about the Avengers. Think of Kevin Samuels. He was like Nick Fury. Truthfully, he talked about he was a Marvel fan, and he loved comic books growing up. But he was like Nick Fury. He was bringing the Avengers together. He was bringing some guys together. Individually, they were strong, but together they were going to be mighty. And we talked about that. This was an evolution of what's to come. And thank God he brought a few together that can now bring a few more together, that can now build a legacy. Kevin's taught us all something. He always taught me something. We were around a number of days, but he's taught us all something. And if he's taught you something, take what he taught you and do the work for what he taught you. I'm doing the work. I'm gonna take what he taught me. It's been a tough day, week and a half for me. Quite honestly, it's been a tough day for his family. That was my brother. That is my brother's my brother. And as in the movie they say, I'm my brother's keeper. So I'm keeping my brother's name alive. I'm keeping his vision alive. I'm doing everything I can to keep what he wanted surviving. And if you can do the same thing, don't give up. He didn't want you to give up. He didn't want me to give up. He didn't want any of us to give up. He wanted us all to be better individually, but better together. So this celebration today is a recognition of what he's brought together as a great man. The greatness will live on. Words will inspire us. He'll inspire us today, tomorrow, and years to come. But please don't be sad completely, because he doesn't want us to be sad. He wants us to just, like he said, get up, be amongst the people, come together, lock arms, and do the work. As he would say, do the freaking work. So I just thank you guys. This has been a tremendous tribute to Kevin. There's more to come, I know. But I just want to step in here and say just a brief word. I say brief, I talked for quite a few minutes now, but I just want you to know he loved us all. He loved you guys, his fans, the community. And if at any point you feel like he wronged you in any way, it wasn't malicious. Trust me. He truly wanted to help everybody he talked to. There was no maliciousness in his heart. If he talked to you, he wanted to help you. So if you took it maliciously, just know it wasn't his intent. Beacon of light, because he wanted you to be a beacon of light to the people you talk to on the internet. But he wants you to be a caring soul, because he was a caring soul. He was raised to be a caring soul, so he wanted everybody to be the same way. And with that, I just want to say thank you all. Stay blessed. Keep this legacy going, and know that we're never going to forget this brother, because he made an impact in my life as a best friend to me, as a best friend to him. And we're going to make sure, no matter what, he continues to thrive in perpetuity and in eternity with what all he's
In
built.
perpetuity and in eternity.
Thanks, Dennis. Your microphone.
Hey, Jeff, I want you to hang in there for a minute. I have a very, very special guest on the phone, a person who you and I, you know very well, who I've gotten to know. And this is Miss Beverly. This is Kevin Samuel's mother. Miss Beverly, it's Jeff and I here. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. You have about 5,000 people listening to your voice now, and plus me and Jeff. And
Okay.
I wanted to just give you the microphone or give you the floor if you wanted to speak to his fan base. These are the ones that love him and appreciate him, and I'm sure you could bring them great healing if you would talk to them. And the floor is yours, ma'am.
Okay. First, I want to say give it to God, because He is the head of our family. And then I want to give thanks to the first responders.
Give thanks to the first responders. Oh boy. She one of those. I forgive him. He ain't mean to shoot my husband and kill my cat. I forgive him. I don't know.
Whenever you guys read mother, I'd be so asleep, and the phone would ring, Mom, I heard you. But then, on the other hand, you have people who talk about money. You know, love is not about money. Kevin had a beautiful heart. He loved his family, and we will always cherish that. And I thank you all for getting this together for me and the family. His aunt is sitting here right next to me. Lord, that was her baby. And I just thank you guys, all of you, and all of the beautiful things that you have been saying about my child. It really made my day. I'm still reading some of the comments. And I was kind of sad today, but after looking and listening, thank you all. Thank you so much. And God bless.
Thank you, Miss Beverly, and I appreciate you. Jeff, thank you so much. We got something special coming up, and Miss Beverly, if you can hang around and take a look at something, I think you're really going to enjoy this. Let's hit the KS button first, and everybody type in Miss Beverly. Just type in Miss Beverly for me, please. Just do that. Those of you guys who are challenged, you know, phonically challenged, you'll figure it out. Do the best you can. But you know, funny thing, I learned something from Jeff that I didn't know. You didn't know that Kevin was famous. Is this true? Miss Beverly?
Yes.
You didn't know that Kevin was, Jeff let me know that you didn't know that Kevin was famous. Can you tell us about how you found out your son was famous?
I still don't believe it.
Damn.
He used to say, Mom, you just don't know some things. And I would tell him, you just give it to me. I'm just Mom. And I just I really don't know. I really did not know just what was happening in his life because he was just my baby. You know, he was just my baby. And I don't know, I just really can't hardly breathe right now. But Jeff, please remind, because Jeff is my rock. He is my rock. I just don't know what I would have done without Jeff. I just don't know. I love you so much, baby. I love you so much.
I love you too. I love you too.
All right, I got windy. It's got wind in here. There's a lot of wind blowing in here, and let me.
Oh,
thank you so much.
Dennis is
I
crying.
appreciate you, and
So he's saying there's a lot of wind in here.
All the good, great
He's making excuses for, having tears in his eyes.
Oh, it means so much, so much. I just don't have the words to say. Just don't have the words to say. But thank you all.
thank you, Ms. Beverly. You have a blessed day, and you enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And we appreciate all that you've done, your grace, your character, just the person that you are. Having got to know you, unfortunately, over the past week, I hold you in the highest regard. We need more women like you, not just black women, but women like you. You are a wonderful woman. You raised a brilliant, outspoken, courageous son who was willing to go against the world to make change because he wanted to save his people. He wanted his people to be better. And he was unafraid to speak to the ladies. A lot of people were afraid to speak to. And we just thank you for that courage.
I thank you. I just want to say to our mothers and fathers, love your children. Regardless. Don't want anybody to have to feel. Love you, baby. You're the best. So soon they're gone. It's too late. It's too late, and I'm so glad. I'm so thankful. Every time I talk to my child, he said, Mom, I love you. I love you, Mom. And we never hung up the phone without saying, I love you. And the text, I love you. Thank you, guys. Mothers, you don't want this holiday. You don't want this holiday. Fathers, you don't want it either. And I have people that I can lean on. I'm so glad, Jeff, I can lean on you. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Thank you all. No more words.
Now that made me want to cry.
What did she say? Love your children for what?
I don't know. Always love your children, and how he never called her and didn't tell her he loved her.
That's what she said?
You know? He always called and told me, he always said, I love you. And she was like, love your children.
I thought he said that she called you.
Your phone is so dirty. Maybe you take a time out right now and wipe that for me while they take this little break. So,
We need some singers. They should have had some black singers up there.
oh man, we need some people. You say we need some people singing and everything?
Yeah.
Yo, your allergies are going crazy today. That ain't you crying, right? My goodness. Yeah, Kevin Samuels, man, he.
Yolanda on the line.
What about that?
Yolanda Adams. he could,
Somebody should have been singing. So you saying there should have been a production here?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm saying they should have had a singer. That would have been cool, because this is something new they're, officially doing somewhat, giving a huge person a YouTube memorial.
Right, right.
That would have been cool. Maybe nobody quite had that connection.
Hmm. What do you guys think? Juan Hernandez. Never met Kev, but I miss him. Rest, intelligent black man. I'm happy. Wait, I'm happy I got to voice. Wait, I'm happy I got to voice your opinion. I'm sad you weren't celebrated enough for the truth you spoke. And then we got Cozy TV at Craig Matt. I don't understand this disrespectful generation either. Reginald Morgan says Kevin did help people, but what was holding them back in society? Reparations and not having it. Trust me on that. When is Kevin Samuel going home celebrating funeral? That's from Waco, Texas Mayor. I don't know. Greg Mack again. Elvis, give some thoughts. I know I was so quiet, right? Deep Impression said blessings to everyone in the chat. Why are the women so hateful to someone who passed away? I don't understand this generation. Yeah, it's quite disgusting, Craig. Elvis, you left your gazelles on the table. Hemp Lord. Did Kev baby, can you move this from here? This thing bothers me. We're not teenagers. We're just having a problem with the doorknob, and we've been using a towel to wedge the door without having it slammed. Did Kevin be handling his affairs? Did Kevin Samuels have a will or lawyer? Seems like this guy Jeff is handling everything.
The best friend.
The best friend.
One of the best food collections in the world. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
So the year is 2017. I'm going through a really difficult divorce. During that time, I was really focused on self-improvement. How can I improve myself both internally and externally? And so I went to YouTube, saw some videos, and then I saw Kevin. And I watched a lot of his videos. He was really big into being an image consultant and helping you with your image, doing great reviews. But one thing I noticed is that he talked about getting therapy a lot. And he had gone to therapy. And that's something that
Maddie, can you stop?
I didn't think I needed therapy. Therapy was only for people, and I was fine.
How was wrong with that girl?
I wasn't getting outcomes that I really wanted, so I knew something had to change. And Kevin he has a great way of being a mirror and reflecting who you are. I went to therapy, and I didn't realize how much I needed it until I got into it. As a result of therapy, I'm a much better man, better father, better friend, better colleague. If I ever get married again, I know I'm going to be a better husband. And because that goes to one thing that will always stick with me from what Kevin said, and that was the people around you who benefit most once you decide to be the best version of yourself. And that will stick with me forever. That's my
Shout out to Kevin Samuels, the most important
You
voice
only
of
have
Black
yourself to
America
blame
in the
if
last
you lose the
50
opportunity.
years. Thank you. Because of you, this past year, I've lost 60 pounds. I joined a boxing gym. I actually bought my very first book in the San Francisco airport. I even picked up some signature scents thinking about you, man. I got the Aqua de Gio and got the Blue de Chanel. Also changed up a little bit of my wardrobe, and starting Monday, I actually hired for the first time ever a personal trainer, and also for the first time, I jumped on Patreon to give back. So thank you, Kevin. Thank you for what you've done. I appreciate all your advice, and I hope to keep your spirit alive. We will win the optics and the emotions. Thanks.
Kevin helped me understand my value as a black man. He also equipped me with tools on how to properly vet a potential wife. He taught me how important it is for black men to take control of our image. Kevin Samuel was
Okay. It's so low, and it's just like, I get it. Kevin Samuels, I think, I think, I think I'm gonna get my first gold chain, and I'm gonna wear a gold chain, and it's gonna be a picture of Kevin Samuels, like that. Maybe the same picture I'm using in the thumbnail. I'm gonna get a chain like that. We're gonna have Kevin Samuels message move mountains. Anyway, it's been an hour. You are appreciated, and I love you.